Welcome to Travels with Travis. Life in Tucson, Arizona is not for everyone. We're surviving harsh desert temperatures, furious Tucson thunderstorms, and confronting local and deadly predators who inhabit our land. Please join me and my family on our adventures. I am Travis, and I am alive in Tucson.
Hello travelers, welcome to Travels with Travis. I'm your host Travis and I'm alive in Tucson. Here on this absolutely gorgeous sunny 65-degree day in Tucson, the sun's setting over to the west. It is amazing right now to look at. Santa Catalina's right in front of me, behind you of course, and of course we got the southern mountain range down here which looks amazing. Here to talk about a subject that might be informative to a lot of people of why we chose to live in Tucson over Phoenix when moving to Arizona. A lot of people are still pouring into Arizona. It's a very popular state, and maybe some of these reasons might aid you in your decision. I will say beforehand that what I think and what other people think are going to be different. Maybe people have had a bad experience in Tucson. Maybe people have had a great experience in Phoenix and they disagree. This is just my opinion. Get it? Got it? Good. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is the heat. It is hot in Phoenix and Tucson, whether you like it or not. However, I can definitely tell a difference in Phoenix. I spent an entire summer in Phoenix a few years ago doing some training, and trust me, definitely it's just miserable. The heat really, the sun bakes into that concrete all day, and even at night it just radiates that heat right back at your face. It's a big city, so there's just concrete and highways and all of that, and it's so miserably hot. Even the pool at the hotel we were staying at was bath water. Like, it wasn't even comfortable to get in the pool. I can't even believe it. Now, here in Tucson, it does get hot, but generally Tucson is a few degrees cooler at any given time than Phoenix. We are higher elevation, so that probably has something to do with it, but it's just definitely not as bad. Went to a corporate meeting this summer and got in the car here, definitely warm, got to Phoenix, and it was like, oh my gosh, opening the door into an oven. So that's one of the reasons, but we're gonna get to number two, which was one of the biggest reasons, which is also affordability. So here in Tucson, we're in the Catalina foothills. Our apartment is $800. Now, for reference, the Catalina foothills is a very wealthy area. You have $1 million to multi-million dollar homes. I mean, I'm looking out on the landscape right here. You got mansions that overlook all of the mountains here, overlook everything. It's nuts. And if you look on Realtor, I mean, like I said, multi-million. So to find an apartment in this really nice area for $800, I'm not complaining. Now, we did just transfer to an adjacent one bedroom that's much bigger, and the rent only went up to $900. So not complaining, and our apartment complex is great. It has an inner courtyard that's all green, pine trees. We got owls on property, and it's just a beautiful view of the Santa Catalinas and the southern mountain range out here. So great location, but it's not hurting my wallet, I can say that. Now, when I was looking into Phoenix, $1,200, $1,300, $1,500 just for a one bedroom. Now, some of these apartments are a little bit nicer because ours is kind of an aging complex. However, a lot of those apartments you have to make about 3 times the rent, and that can be hard nowadays. I'm sure everyone can relate how it can be difficult. We are a one-income household, but here at my apartment complex, it was only about 2.5 times the rent, and of course, when the rent's only $800, it's much more manageable. Also, another cost I noticed that was definitely a little lower was gas prices. Every time we go to Phoenix, it's definitely a little higher, especially last summer when we went to a corporate meeting. I saw one of the station signs and I went, oh, like, I was complaining about the gas prices down here, but yeah, it's definitely a little higher in Phoenix. Of course, that depends on where you go. I go to Sam's Club, and right now Sam's Club has gas for like 50 cents cheaper than everywhere else. All right, guys, we're going to talk about another reason why we chose to come to Tucson, and it's also because Phoenix is just too big of a city. I moved here from Dallas, and the Dallas area is just growing and growing and growing. It feels like it never stops. There's so many highways and byways and freeways and construction, and it's so crowded. All the 5 o'clock traffic, it's absolutely miserable, and I didn't want to have that similar experience in Phoenix. The Phoenix metro area is around 5 million and it keeps growing. Now, Tucson, however, in the city limits is about 500,000. Now, the greater Tucson area is a little over 1 million, but that's still a much, much different number than 5 million. So big city. I'm just kind of over it. I'd rather be somewhere smaller, but also has the resources I want. Tucson has everything I want. And I'm gonna get into the next reason is I really don't care about bars or clubbing or nightlife or what concerts coming into town. Most people prefer Phoenix because when the bigger acts come to town, they choose Phoenix. That's fine. I don't really care if Lady Gaga is coming to Phoenix. I don't really need that. I will say that one of my absolute favorite bands from Europe is coming to Phoenix in April, and honestly, I'm just gonna drive up to Phoenix, spend the day in Mesa, go to the concert, drive home. You know, it is an hour and a half to 40, you know, more close to 2 hours to get to Phoenix, but not that big of a deal. If it's something I really want to see, I'll just travel up to Phoenix. I don't need to live there to make sure I'm hitting all the most recent artists and all that stuff. So I don't need to be at the best bars and clubs that Arizona has to offer. I'm more of a chill and watch the sunset at night guy, and trust me, if you could see it right now, it is stunning. But that means I'm losing light. So the other thing is nature. Now, Phoenix and Arizona as a whole have a lot of nature. So if someone's gonna be in the comments like, oh, Phoenix has plenty of outdoor stuff to do. Yes, it does, I agree, but Tucson just has so much, and it feels more enveloped with nature. I mean, our apartment, like everything just feels like it flows with the land. And you got the mountains here, and 8 minutes down the road we have Sabino Canyon, you have Saguaro National Park, there's a bike trail all around the city, but it just feels like everything meshes with nature. Now obviously if you go downtown Tucson, it's all buildings and construction and all that. It's not like there's parks and fields and all that stuff, but it just feels like in a lot of areas here there's just so much beautiful nature. And we went camping in this area literally just 45 minutes north of here. That is just open land, pitch a tent, and it's just like we didn't have to go very far. Now I will say Phoenix does have some good stuff. I love Lost Dutchman State Park, and that was really great to go visit. It is a little bit out of the city depending on where you're coming from, but it just feels so connected to nature here. I mean, right now at our apartment complex I can hear the owls that live in our unit, our buyer unit, hooting. I just saw some coyotes over here. I've seen javelina over here. I've seen just everything. Beautiful sunsets, which of course Phoenix has too. I just can't believe what I'm seeing right here. It's so beautiful. But it just feels like I'm more connected to nature here, and I just have stuff that's really close by. Like Sabino Canyon, if you ever heard of it, look it up. So gorgeous. It's almost like, why go to Saguaro National Park when you have something like that right here, and it's 8 minutes away. I can just hop in the car in 2 seconds and be in this gorgeous cactus forest with the beautiful mountain range right in front of me. So it's just, you know, one of those reasons we decided to come here. The other reason is it is a dark skies city. In a lot of the outer limits here, there is a limit on street lights. You'll be driving down the street in Tucson and be like, man, it's dark, what's going on? Well, they turn a lot of the lights off, a lot of the street lights, in order to reduce the light pollution so you can see the beautiful nighttime sky. In fact, when I'm standing here at my apartment on this hill at night, I can see everything. I can see Orion's Belt, a lot of the constellations, the North Star. It's just stunning. I love it, and I love to do astrophotography, so I've come out on new moons and done some really great photo shoots. I'll scroll through some of those pictures, but it's really great if you're a space lover. In fact, if you head west, you have Kitt Peak Observatory that you can go to, which is great for observing astronomy, and it's just really awesome. So Phoenix, I'm not saying you can't see the stars anywhere. When we were at Apache Junction, I could definitely see some, but when you're facing west, because Apache Junction is east, and you're looking out towards Phoenix, you can't see jack squat because there's so much light pollution. The other thing is, obviously Arizona is known for its saguaro cactus here. Tucson has the highest concentration of saguaro cactus anywhere. The reason I bring that up is because anyone who knows me knows I love saguaro cactus. They're just so freaking cool. The symbol of the Southwest. You just look at one and you're like, man, it is so tall. And there's just so many of them everywhere where you're driving. No matter where you're driving, they're everywhere. And there were some areas in Phoenix I was in where I didn't see any, and I'm like, this is like literally the most iconic thing Arizona has. Where are they? Here they're everywhere, and I just love seeing them every day. Every time I see one, I just feel like I need to turn and look at it because they're just all in these interesting, unique shapes. So anyways, rambling on about that, but you know, these are just a few of the reasons that we decided to move to Tucson instead of to Phoenix. I've been to both places. I prefer it here. I just really wouldn't want to live in Phoenix unless I absolutely had to. Phoenix does have a few more things to offer. The jobs do pay a little more, but that's because the apartments cost more, the cost of living's a little higher, and so many people are moving to Phoenix. It's just so packed. And I just heard recently they're building some more tech plants for like microchips, and there's just going to be so much going on. And there's a lot of water issues going on now, of course, and I know they're trying to fix that. But here in Tucson, I was listening to a gentleman who lives here, and he's like, if the city stopped storing water today, they would have over 100 years available still. So there's still plenty of water in Tucson, and it was actually kind of a rainy winter. I think the strong El Nino or something, but I did read that it was one of the wettest. So we are getting plenty of rain here, at least in Tucson. But Tucson's gorgeous. You're surrounded by 4 mountain ranges. Like I said, the Santa Catalina's in front of me, the Western Mountain Range over here, the Rincon, which is snow-capped right now, and the Southern Mountains, which are absolutely gorgeous. I really wish y'all could see the sunset. I might take a shot and pan it right now, but anyways, guys, I didn't want to make this over 10 minutes, but I'm a few seconds over. I appreciate you joining me. You know, are you trying to decide between Phoenix and Tucson, or do you already live in Tucson and don't really care for it, or would you prefer to live in Phoenix? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions. If you're deciding on moving to Arizona and you need some pointers, Tucson's great. If you can find something that works for you, definitely do it. If you prefer Phoenix because of work or other reasons, that's just what you got to do. But I appreciate you joining me. I'm Travis, and I'm alive in Tucson. We'll catch you next time.